Hey guys, how is everybody doing? With Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire, now officially playing in theaters this weekend. Well, technically it's playing in theaters right now. Go watch it. Here are my thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong. Up with my positives on Godzilla vs. Kong is I did like seeing Millie Bobby Brown returning to the MonsterVerse.
Me and my brother can never know we took his van.
Josh, to be clear, even if we got into an accident, I don't think you could tell.
Now, she was in Godzilla King of the Monsters. She played a small role in that movie. She wasn't in it much, and I think she plays a bigger part in this movie, but yet again, it's not a big role either. But I did like seeing her return. I did like her whole story thing going on in this movie to where they're trying to figure out why Godzilla decided to like turn on humans and started like destroying buildings and start killing us and not killing other monsters or protecting us anymore. I really like that whole section of the movie. I love Millie Bobby Brown. She's a great actress. I'm a big Stranger Things fan. I'll probably have at the end of the video my thoughts on her and Godzilla King of the Monsters, so go watch that after this video. And I like seeing her in this movie. She's a great addition to this movie. You could just tell she's having fun making this movie. And I really liked her whole story going on with Godzilla and trying to figure out stuff with him. I thought that was a cool stuff. I really liked seeing that stuff going on in this movie. But yeah, Millie Bobby Brown coming back. I was really happy to see her come back. She's one of my favorite parts of this entire universe. And yeah, it's kind of disappointing we won't see her in the new film. But if she does decide to come back, I'd be happy. The thing that I really liked about this movie and what they did with King Kong in this movie, and I also thought it was a really cool addition, is teaching King Kong sign language and him knowing sign language. Like, there's a part on a boat where he knows home, and I know some sign language, but it's been a while since I last did it though. But I thought that was a cool addition to where you actually know what he's actually going through now. You actually know his pain, and you actually know what he wants. Like when the little girl says that he's hurt and he doesn't like this, but he does understand what's going on, and he just doesn't like it. Like some of that stuff to where you actually know what Kong is actually going through, all of his pain and all this stuff that's going on with him. He doesn't want to do it. Like teaching him sign language to where we know what he's going through now, and it was a great addition in this movie. Like when he says home in this movie. He wants to go home. He doesn't want to be on this boat. He doesn't want to fight Godzilla. He wants to go home. In this place, it's the one place, I forget what it's called. It's like the outer world or whatever, something like that. But yeah, I really like that where you see what Kong's going through, and I don't think any other King Kong movie has done that. But I honestly feel if they do make a different King Kong movie, they should do it like this. They should do that in another King Kong movie because I would be okay with that. I'm hoping that I'll get to see more of that in the new film. But yeah, I just really like how they added that new element into this movie comes to the CGI or VFX wise, Godzilla and King Kong, or Kong as they refer to him in this movie, I think they both look their best as they look their best out of this entire MonsterVerse, out of the entire MonsterVerse universe, out of all these other three films. King Kong and Godzilla, they look absolutely their best. You could tell that they got really polished up for the big fight. They looked their best for the big fight. Yeah, so they looked great. I honestly feel they're the best they've ever looked in this entire MonsterVerse. They're the cleanest they've ever looked. Like, and Godzilla, he looks like an absolute beast in this movie, as well as King Kong. And some of the stuff that I really enjoyed about this movie about King Kong is like certain details they put on Godzilla, like the scratch on his chest, and like one scene you can see like the scratches on his hand from Kong Skull Island, which I thought was a really cool addition to the VFX of Kong. I thought that was really cool. I really like what the additions they put on Kong. And yeah, they both look their absolute best. They got polished up for the big fight, the biggest fight of their career, as I like to say. But yeah, they both look their best. You could tell that the cast and crew put a lot of the money towards them, not really towards the actors, really. But yeah, they absolutely look their best. I don't know if that's because technology really changed for them throughout the last few years, but either if it was because technology changed or they wanted to make them look their best, either ways, they absolutely look awesome in this film. Speaking of VFX, I also really like the design of Hollow Earth. That whole design of that entire place looks awesome to where like above them there's like also like another earth above them. There's also like cool creatures in here like bats and like this weird wing kind of looking dragon. Like those creatures look cool. Like the design of Hollow Earth itself is beautiful, and the visualize there, it's also just beautiful. Like the design of Hollow Earth is amazing. I really love the design of Hollow Earth. I've heard that apparently we're supposed to get a more of it in the new film, which I'm pretty excited about to hear about that. But yeah, I love the design of Hollow Earth. It's absolutely fantastic. It's visually stunning, and how we also learn through so much about it throughout this entire movie, to where they don't just introduce it as like, hey, it's here, look at it. But no, they actually like develop the Hollow Earth. They actually explain it to the audience, so we're not like confused on what it is or well, how it happened. They actually explain it to you, which I was glad to see. But Hollow Earth, visually wise, it looks fantastic, and VFX wise, it just looks fantastic. I really like how they put Mega Godzilla in this movie, to where they reveal it in this movie where they, if you've been paying attention throughout the entire movie, to where Godzilla apparently turned heel and he's now destroying buildings, and he's apparently attacking us now. And but if you've been paying attention, you could tell what Apex Cybernetics has been building, and it was Mega Godzilla. Now, I will be completely honest, this is the first Godzilla movie I've ever seen with Mega Godzilla, but I remember growing up with the toy of Mega Godzilla, and I would always have the 2014 Godzilla toy I had and a Mega Godzilla I got. I would always have them fight. And when I saw that, when I went to watch this movie back when it first came out, I was like a little girl on Christmas getting a puppy, because I thought that was great. And rewatching it again, I thought it was great to see him, and he looks badass. He, along with Kong and Godzilla, he looks absolutely awesome. I love the design of him. They make him such a absolute badass, to where they make it makes you feel like it does take both Godzilla and Kong to fight him at the very end of the movie. That is how awesome I think he truly is in this movie. They did him completely justice. I feel he's absolutely awesome. Yeah, it was just awesome. And that final battle between Godzilla and Kong was awesome. It, I'm sounding like a nerd, but for someone who grew up with the a toy of Mega Godzilla, and who loved that toy growing up, and I wish I didn't break it, I thought it was great to see him. I'm a huge fan of Godzilla. I love that toy, and they just did awesome with him in this movie. My final positive: if you're going to have a Godzilla versus Kong movie, and if you fail on the fights, and if you fail on the final battle, then you did your movie wrong. But thank God they didn't. The battles between Godzilla and Kong are awesome, like especially the boat one when they first meet up. It's a small fight, but it's still a pretty exciting fight. And the final fight I thought was great. I love the colors there, to where I don't know where it takes place. It was like Hong Kong. Yeah, it was in Hong Kong, and the colors there when they're fighting, it was great compared to like the other two Godzilla movies where they take place in like pitch black and it's covered in dust a lot. But this one, it's just completely colorful. You can see everything that's going on. You can see every punch. You can see everything during the entire fight, and it was just awesome. I was glad to see that. I was glad to see how colorful it was. I really liked the colors during that fight. It was awesome. And the fights during it was awesome. And Kong gets this badass axe in this movie, which I thought was cool. I thought the fights were just amazing. They definitely delivered on that. They knew what exactly we paid to watch. They knew exactly why we're watching this movie, and they definitely succeeded in the fights, because if you fail making your fights badass in a Godzilla versus Kong movie, then you failed your film. But thankfully, they didn't fail. On my mixed aspects, and that is Julia Dennison. Yeah, Dennison. I had to look at my notes to say his name right. But Julia Dennison, I best know him for Deadpool 2 when he played the kid with like fire hands or whatever. I haven't seen Deadpool 2 in a while, so I can't remember the guy's name, but I mostly remember him from Deadpool 2, and I remember really liking him in that. But he's just kind of here. He's just kind of there in this movie, to where Millie Bobby Brown wants to go meet the one guy in this movie that has a podcast in this movie, and he believes Godzilla turned heel for a reason, and he's not actually turning heel, and he's trying to destroy something. And he gets a van from his brother, and he's just kind of there. He's also kind of like a lame comic relief. of this movie as well. He's just kind of there. I don't really know how to feel about him. I think he's a good actor. I really like him as an actor. There are points where where I thought he was pretty funny, but the entire time I was watching this, I was like, you don't really need to be there. Excuse me. I feel the only reason he was in there in this movie is just to get a van to get to Hong Kong. That was it. That is the whole reason he is in this movie. That's the whole reason he's there. They could completely cut him out of this entire movie, and you wouldn't notice the difference. Mixed aspect is I don't know how to feel about Godzilla really taking a back seat and King Kong being front and center of this entire movie. Now, at the same time, I will admit we do have two other Godzilla movies in this MonsterVerse, so we have seen more Godzilla than we have King Kong. And Kong Skull Island has not fully got its own standalone sequel, but I guess you could call these last few movies a sequel to Kong Skull Island. But if it's titled Godzilla versus Kong, I would have liked to see more Godzilla. I would have liked to see more destruction. I would have liked to see Godzilla do more. I would have liked to see him do more things, but he only shows up here and there for like the big fights or to destroy Apex cybernetics, like stuff like that. Those are the only parts where he shows up. I don't know. I just would have rather seen more Godzilla in this movie because it's Godzilla versus Kong. When you want to see Godzilla fight Kong more. But we do have two other Godzilla movies, but yet again, he didn't really fully show up in Godzilla 2014 until an hour in. But I did like seeing King Kong front and center so we can see him again because Kong Skull Island didn't get its own standalone sequel, and I do like the design of Kong, and I do like what they're doing with him in this MonsterVerse. I am glad we got to see more Kong, I'm glad he got to do more, but I would have just loved to see more Godzilla in this film. One of my negatives, and this has to do with the human villain Walter. He's a interesting villain kind of, where he's this big business guy that wants to get rid of Godzilla and replace him with a Mega Godzilla. That's his whole character in this movie. Now, one, I understand it, and it's a good reason to get Mega Godzilla in here, but he's also just not a very threatening villain, and he's just a business guy, and Mega Godzilla kills him after it fully comes alive. He's not a very threatening villain, and that's the human villain of this movie? A rich business owner? Like we haven't seen that before? Like his whole character, I want to get rid of this so I can bring this in so it's better. We've seen that before. He's a very generic villain, and he doesn't really have much to do in this movie. And he dies like that after his creation comes to life. I just don't understand. All in all, guys, Godzilla vs. Kong, this is a damn good time. This movie is a lot of fun. It's a lot of dumb fun. Now, I did not talk much about these characters because, let's be real, we're not here for big character moments. We're not here for character development or character arcs. We're here to see Godzilla vs. Kong. Plain and simple. And that movie definitely delivers. It's a damn good time. The fights are awesome. This movie is a damn good time, and it might be my favorite MonsterVerse movie, but we shall see with this new one. But yeah, this is a movie I definitely recommend for just a lot of dumb fun. Although I would have liked to see Godzilla versus King Kong versus Godzilla again. Because remember when he got deep throated? Good times, right? What do you guys think about Godzilla vs. Kong? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Is this your favorite MonsterVerse movie? Is this your least favorite? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe with the bell notification so you will get notified for all of my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, I will see you all next time.